reflect. Good morning, you beautiful flecks of stardust. Oh, I stole that from Cyprus. For many of us, the holiday season is receding rapidly, while for others, we're in the midst of it. Christmas has come and gone, as well as Hanukkah, Bodhi Day, Saturnella, Las Posadas, Solstice, or Mori. We're on the last days of Kwanzaa. We're smack dab in the middle of historical Yule. Coming up are the Epiphany, Makar Sankranti, and of course New Year's Day. It's all right, everyone. Let's be honest for a moment. Show of hands. How many of us just heard a word they have no clue what it is? Good. As Unitarian Universalists, it is part of our principles to continuously search for meaning and truth. Other cultures' holidays get to be part of that. You can check the fourth principle off for the day. Go us. New Year's is a season of reflection. I'm a cheeseball. If you don't know who I am, I'm a total cheeseball. Don't ever expect me to be serious. New Year's is a season of reflection. We could, and in my opinion, we should reflect at any point of the year. Naming time, for the most part, is made up. The solstices and the equinoxes are set points where something is happening in relation to the planet Earth and the sun. Christmas is a set point celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. Hanukkah is a set point honoring a historical event. The Gregorian calendar's use of January 1st, however, as the starting point for the year, has nothing to do with Earth, on the fact that it keeps Easter in spring, something very important for Christianity. And I must say, it's made a nice ending wrap up for what has become a very busy time in Western culture. It gives us a nice fresh start. Endings often mean reflection. Thinking back on the past year, what could be improved? What was done well? What lessons can be applied to the next year? What do we want to do differently? And what will we stop doing entirely? What do we want to bring with us into the new year, into this new season of existence? Remember how I mentioned the fourth principle of Unitarian Universalism? The fourth principle is the free and responsible search for meaning and truth. What this means is up to you all as individuals. For me, this means that it is my responsibility to search out truth and meaning, and that I am free to do so without hindrance from others. In the spirit of this interpretation of the fourth principle, we're going to reflect on the passing year and what we may want to bring into the next year. Some members of our congregation have agreed to speak. They were each given an envelope. They picked the envelope at random, and inside the envelopes were reflective questions. I have no idea who has what questions, so I'm in for as much of a treat as all of you are. Is Helene here? All right, so the first we're gonna hear from is Johanna.
Good morning, everyone. As Nava said, these questions were given to us randomly, and I don't believe it was a coincidence that randomly I was given the question, in what way did you grow in your relationships with others, and how will you use this in 2024? I don't believe it was random because it's a difficult question for me to answer, and yet, as is often true of difficult questions, it is a necessary one. I don't often reflect on my relationships with others because it is indeed a challenging question for me to answer. And if I'm being honest with myself, I have to say that I don't think my relationships with others grew much in 2023. I have been an introvert for as long as I can remember, and my introversion was exacerbated by often being bullied throughout my school years, by alternately being either excluded or verbally abused. And so I built walls for myself to insulate myself from the pain the rejection caused and rejecting people before they could have a chance to reject me. Over the years, I have tried to fight against my solitary nature, but in 2023, I just leaned right into it. I wanted to rest and stop fighting. Like most introverts, my social battery drains quickly. I find social interactions and events exhausting. My mother has accused me of being selfish because of this. And for many years, I thought her correct. However, it's not that simple. The concern that people will dislike me for being my true self, or that I will say the wrong thing or say something stupid, all of that is exhausting. Again, this past year, I found myself retreating more from others because I felt I needed to rest. It is comfortable and safer to simply retreat. At the same time, I believe that growing and learning requires stepping out of your comfort zone. Growth and learning, by their very nature, require discomfort and challenging oneself. To grow in my relationship with others, I need to be willing to step out of what's comfortable. So in 2024, I hope to balance what's comfortable with growing and nurturing relationships with others. I need to respect my own boundaries and caring for my needs with the needs and boundaries of others. So I need to learn how to balance this delicate equation. I found this quote by activist Jonathan Rauch. Leave an extrovert alone for 2 minutes and they will reach for their cell phone. In contrast, after an hour or two of being socially on, we introverts need to turn off and recharge. My own formula is roughly 2 hours alone for every hour of socializing. This isn't antisocial, it isn't a sign of depression, it does not call for medication. For introverts, to be alone with our thoughts is as restorative as sleeping and as nourishing as eating. I like this formula of 2 hours alone, and for every 1 hour spent socializing, it would provide for growth in relationships with others while honoring my need for recuperation. I can use this knowledge to grow in my relationship with the community and with the good, kind, and generous people I have the good fortune to have met, many of whom are right here in this room. In closing, I stand at a crossroads between the comfort of solitude and the enriching connections waiting beyond my walls. As I step into the promise of 2024, I embrace Jonathan Rauch's wisdom, striving to strike a balance that honors the need for solitude and the beauty of nurturing relationships. To those here today, I thank you deeply for your patience, your understanding, and your presence. And may this new year be a canvas for us where each stroke of connection paints a masterpiece of understanding, compassion, and growth. Here's to a year where boundaries are respected, connections are fortified, and the journey, though challenging, is profoundly rewarding. Thank you.
Molly. It's okay. You're fine.
My question was, what is my biggest personal challenge and how have I grown from it? My biggest personal challenge is bridging into adulthood. I have to figure out if I want to go to the army, a trade school, college, or even if I want to further my education. I put so much pressure on myself to figure it all out. I had my first job in relationships. For the first time, I've had to pay bills, learn how taxes work, and about budgeting my money. I feel not quite like an adult and not quite like a kid. This has made me grown in many ways though. It has given me the knowledge that I still have time to figure out what I want to do. I don't need to know everything about being an adult as soon as I graduate. I'm not good. It has taught me to experience. It has taught me to experience and try new things. Getting a job has taught me to be more responsible and use my time wisely. Throughout my middle school and high school relationships, I've grown a lot. I've gained more compassion for others and a new sense of self-respect and level of confidence. Learning about money has put a lot of perspective on how I've saved efficiently for the future. It has given me a greater understanding of budgeting. Overall, going through these changes in life has given me an understanding and a perspective I'm really grateful for.
So the question that I was given to me was, how have I grown spiritually and emotionally this year, and how do I feel that growth, or things will continue into next year? So I guess I'm just going to start off with saying that it's really, over the past year, I've really come to appreciate how great it is to be part of a spiritual community that I really feel like I belong with. I grew up Roman Catholic, and especially, kind of into my teenage years when I would go to church. But I didn't want to rock the boat, so I just went to church, and I really wasn't super on board with it all. And I always kind of felt like a fraud there because I was like, oh, I'm just kind of going along with the flow and not really I didn't really buy into it all. But now I feel like I really belong here, and it's great. And as a parent of 2 young children who are growing, there's a lot of emotional and spiritual growth that goes along with that. As they grow, we as parents grow too, and you never know what the next day is going to bring, what curveball questions your 7-year-old's going to ask you. So it's an interesting way of kind of self-reflection too, when they ask you these questions, like, it's a really good question. How am I going to answer that one? Yeah. As part of this congregation, I really, I've come to better embrace the concept that many small acts of kindness and fellowship really do make the future brighter, and that's, it's heartening because there's so many challenges in the world these days. And just also there's a lot of value in hearing the stories of other people, that when, the sermons and everything, their stories and the way they see the world, and finding common ground through it all. It's really a great experience. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So I won't lie, this question of what was an unexpected joy this past year and how, can I grow from it, was challenging. I don't even know where to begin. 2023 had so much packed into it for me, both joys and challenges. So for 2023, most of the instances of joys that came were not only expected for me, they were pretty hard won and earned. They were worked for. Our Pride Day festival probably is the biggest thing that comes to mind, and that dream coming to fruition is probably the clearest example, but there were so many others of hard work in building in my garden and a personal level, and helping and growth with my partners, but they were worked for and continue to be worked on. So my answer to the challenging questions naturally have a challenging answer. I didn't find unexpected joy in one specific instance. Instead, I found joy in resilience, mine and others' resiliency. I leaned into music through drum and dance and art and ritual, and helped in creating safe spaces welcoming to all. I'm damn proud of Wyoming Valley Cups, what Wyoming Valley Cups is now, as well as our whole congregation and how far we've come and all the lessons we've learned. I drew and reaffirmed many of my boundaries with quite a few people. Some of them are no longer in my life because of it. And it was a heartbreaking choice that needed to be made, but that was because of resiliency. The world feels so much heavier right now. And I've been thinking a lot about my ancestors. Why do you think they made it? The wars, the recessions, Great Depression, the hardships? I think it is because they played music for people. They created spaces of joy. It's not just art. Music is joy, art is joy. It feeds the flame and keeps you warm when the world is cold. Dancing together, playing together, it's how they survived. Our ancestors still created spaces for joy and filled them with music. Laughter, dance, fun, that type of light, it shines brighter when the world is darker. Joy is the early spring flower that starts the entire cycle of life. Without joy and other forms of nourishment, without joy, other forms of nourishment are not as effective. Without joy, our resilience falters. Joy is music, art, dance, togetherness, and what keeps us going through the darkness. Now, joy will not alone. protect trans and queer identified people from the wave of genocidal legislation being crafted against them. Joy will not alone return women's body sovereignty rights to them. Joy alone will not protect Black and brown bodies from systems of white supremacy that poison the infrastructure and social fabric of the United States. Joy alone will not turn the tide of climate change. But joy is the flower. It is the first link in the ecosystem of resistance and resilience. It is the necessary ingredient that starts the cycle of keeping us strong, vital, and energetic enough to fight the long entrenched battle that lies before us. I never expected resilience to be my joy, or to get joy from my resilience. The forces that seek to destroy, suppress, and control also hate to see us happy. Spiteful joy is a real weapon in its own right. So how do we create more joy? To our ancestors, joy was a community activity. It was linked to times of togetherness, of sharing music, dancing, and laughter. This is a reflection of the lives they lived. It's a different world now. We come together in lots of different ways: festivals, potlucks, game nights, craft nights, and others. I think individual and solitary joy is important too. I definitely hit the stand-up comedy collection on my streaming services when I need my laughs. Gardening, of course, brings me joy. Dancing around my kitchen, listening to Irish jigs brings me lots of joy. Walking trails with my amazing partner and chosen family and friends, that brings me joy. But the specific kind of joy a lot of our ancestors leaned into wasn't solitary or even individual family joy. It's community joy. Joy is the flower. The flower feeds our strength. Our strength fuels the resistance and our resiliency. So may we continue to be a resilient community, finding joy in our shared journey together.
I thank all of you for sharing your insights and your unique perspectives, and thank you for being part of our journeys as Unitarian Universalists. The purpose of reflection, I feel, is to utilize it to move forward. We've done a lot as a congregation. Like, I'm one of the doers that goes into the office without blinking an eye, and let me tell you how much we have done this year. It is a lot. We have collected $3,521 for charity solely through the Collection for a Cause, not counting today. If you do not, when we do the Collection for a Cause, it says half of today's contributions will go to blah, 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 blah. When someone comes up and puts money in the basket, like as some churches would call it tithing, we donate half of that to a charity. So we only keep half of it. Y'all have donated $3,521 to 12 different charities, and you might not have realized that. That's not chump change. We were the only spiritual sponsoring organization for Trans Day of Visibility. We were one of only 3 spiritual congregations presented at Wilkes-Barre's Pride. We've had rabbis, imams, Christian pastors, yogi people? Yogis, thank you. Secularists, atheists, and pagans freely speak their truths at this very podium. We have begun the next steps in becoming more accessible to more body types. Our congregation has almost doubled in size, bouncing back from the pandemic. Our own president, and I wish he were up here because he doesn't like it when we acknowledge him, our own president has received recognition through the NAACP for his work on racial justice. We went solar. We as a congregation have had a very bright year. How bright do we want 2024 to be? What steps do we plan to continue? What steps do we want to take, both as individuals and as congregations? In this season of reflection, I wish you all clarity and foresight. Thank you.
Our second hymn is number 55, Dark of Winter.
Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet call surrounds me. Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly, and then my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of life eternal, gentle darkness, soft and still. Bring your quiet to me. Darkness, soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me, and then my soul may hear a voice, a still small voice of love eternal. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
In things essential, unity. In things circumstantial, liberty. In things yet to be, courage. And in all things, wisdom and love.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and old lang syne? For lang syne, my dear, for we'll take a cup of kindness yet for lang syne. We too have run about the slopes and picked the daisies fine. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for sign, falling sign, my dear, falling sign. We'll take a cup of kindness yet, falling sign. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and old lang syne? Falling sign, my dear, falling sign. We'll take a cup of kindness yet falling sign.
Thank you to everyone who made this service possible. Hava, Shannon, Johanna, Dave, Helene, and me. Shannon for tech, Tom for greeting, and it has been a pleasure to be your convener. Spirituality is not a spectator sport. As Unitarian Universalists, using your voice is a vital part of our success as a whole. Use your voice today and fill out the worship committee survey. Speaking of using your voice, we will now have our social action minute from the Social Action Committee. We will not.
Get out there, dude.
We will now have congregational announcements.
Awesome sauce.
Like your vice president today.
Well, your vice president, president is downstairs enjoying time with children. Thank you again for a lovely service. Thank you. I feel honored that you asked me to speak. So I'll start with next week. Next week we'll have Lori Stewart, who will share something near and dear to our hearts. So every Tuesday from 4:45 to 5:45 we have Buddhist meditation.
And today,
And we have an
end of year meditation.
end of year meditation. That's all I was gonna.
3:30 today.
2 to 3:30. So Buddhist meditation here. Speak to Beth if you are interested. We are still doing Dungeons and Dragons night, accepting new players and new DMs every Friday from 8 to 11:30. Our New Year's purification ritual and full moon labyrinth walk is tomorrow from 7 to 9. Come anytime between 7 and 8:30. If you feel like this year was really heavy and you want to, burn stuff or, drop stuff in water or come on, we can burn 2023 together, even if we had a great year. We have an online version of this as well on Tuesday, January 2nd via Zoom at 7 o'clock. There is a New Year's hike Saturday, January 6th, 11 a.m. We're gonna, I think, meet here and Frady and Francis Slocum, I lied. So please contact either Brian or I guess Daniel, I guess Hava too, or Hava as well, if you are interested in that. Let's see here. That's not happened for a while. Thursday for book groups happening January 25th, 7:30. If you're interested, go ahead and it happens, usually meet both Zoom and in person. If you're interested, go ahead and contact Rob Lewis. All of these will be, I'll put the announcements in the back. And if you don't have our announcements yet, you can speak to me or Hava and we can get that switched. Still collecting food for the pantry in the back. We are still looking for a part-time youth advisor as well as a part-time childcare coordinator. If you are interested in either of those positions, please speak to Jill Wetzel, who I believe is downstairs currently. And then CUPS is also offering an online witchcraft classes for free via Zoom starting Tuesday, January 23rd. It'll be 10 weeks, again, entirely free. I think that's it. Do we have any? Oh, go ahead.
Lost and Found is being
Oh,
done
yeah.
today. So if downstairs there's a table that says if yours, take it. If it is on the table, we are cleaning, it's being donated or rehomed or trashed or whatever, so please check the table if it's yours. Take it. And there's a crock pot someone put in there recently. I got one of Jamie's, it's not the covers. So if that is your crock pot, it's on the table.
Well, definitely go check. All right, thank you so much. We have coffee and tea back there. And thank you for a lovely service and Happy New Year.
I finally said, screw it.
Happy New Year to you guys.
I'm out.